In today's video, we are going over how to improve your football IQ. So what do you look for? First of all, you need to look for the player in your position. What sector of the field are they playing? Second, you're going to look into these three main things. Number one, you're going to look at the decision making that they do when they are on the field, when they have the ball. Number two, you're going to be looking at their body language. How are they reacting when they have the ball, when they don't have the ball? And number three, you're going to be looking at the movements that they make in and out of space. So we're going to dive into this first clip right here. First thing that I see here is that this player is in their own half, their defensive third. They're surrounded by a sea of red players. Right now it seems like it's a 5 versus 3 situation. So what do you think is the best scenario for them to do now? In my opinion, if I pause the game and I'm looking at the match right now, one touch back to the passer, person throwing it in, so that the person throwing it in can switch it. Of course, when you are on field level, it's not that easy. You got to make these split decisions in a matter of seconds. You have to also be aware of your surroundings, but sometimes you're not going to be aware of your surroundings because maybe for that split second you didn't look, you didn't scan, you didn't see what is around you. So let's go ahead and play this clip and see what happened next. So now let's move on to watching out for specific moments or scenarios that happen throughout the match. In this particular scenario, we're going to be looking at this fullback and noticing what they decide to do when they are defending a counterattack. We notice that the winger is dribbling down the left flank, and we notice that the fullback is hustling back to defend. Right now it's a 1v1 situation, so I want you to notice a couple things. The distance between him and the attacker, and then knowing when to commit to that tackle. This fullback decides to make the tackle, successfully makes the tackle, and then as soon as they win the ball back, look what happens. First thought is trying to play out, trying to play forward. However, it's not always going to be on. So now you have to make a split-second decision after processing the information that you see in front of you of trying to keep the ball. If you're in trouble in that moment, you're probably gonna have to clear it out. In this next clip, we're gonna notice how as soon as the center back receives the ball, that is the fullback's cue to start opening up the pitch. Why do you want to open up the pitch as a fullback? Because you're creating space for yourself and for your teammates. If you notice, this winger right here in the middle now has to decide whether to stay central or to keep opening up wide to defend the fullback. If you were a fullback, what decision would you make in this particular scenario? This is something that you need to be looking for every time that you're watching a match. If you can, rewatch matches on YouTube, on the internet, pause the moments where the player in your position gets the ball, and then try to see what type of options there are in that current situation. If we switch the camera and go into field view, we can kind of see what that fullback is looking at. So in this particular scenario, we can see that the fullback is looking ahead and that the field looks extremely congested in the middle. It's a risky pass if he plays in the middle. It's a risky pass if he goes down the line. In my opinion, I think the best option in this particular scenario is most likely restarting play, playing backwards, and circulating the ball again. So again, these are the moments that you need to be looking for as a player when you are watching these matches. If you can see how they are looking at it from their perspective, and if you can see the game from a bird's eye view, then this is going to help you tremendously to make that next decision. Let's see what he does next, this fullback. And there you go. He restarts play. He stays out wide. He's still that wide option. As the ball shifting back over to the weak side, he slightly tucks in, but always maintaining his distance from the center back. Again, ball is circulating again over to his side. He starts opening up the field again, trying to stay wide to be that option. So now let's take a look at this center mid. Center mid is getting the ball in this zone right here. They have space in front of them to dribble. What do you think the center mid should be doing in this scenario? Where is his space? Where are his teammates? Where are the opponents? Where did the ball just come from? These are questions that you should be asking yourself as a player, whatever position that you are trying to learn. This particular scenario, the center mid has a bit of space in front of him. He's already facing that way. He's dribbling that way. If I were him, I would probably just keep dribbling into that space. Look to play either this player or just keep going until something opens up. Look at it from a field view perspective, because of course, if we're looking at it from this bird's eye perspective, everything looks great. Everything is easy. We can make decisions easy. But if we're at field level and we're number 6 and number 10 is giving us the ball here, what do you see? If I turn the camera here around and we're looking around, we can see that there is a striker on us close by. The other striker is close by as well. But the best options may be, if I do receive that ball, is taking that touch slightly in front of me and potentially looking to split that line to number 9. We have the number 9 pass right here to break that line through. We also have the option to potentially play number 7 right here, or depending how players move and how they press us, maybe an option to switch the field opens up. These are decisions that we need to make in a matter of seconds. And before even receiving the ball, can we identify these moments? This is how you're gonna be able to improve your football IQ. And the best way to do it is by watching these matches. In this next clip, we're gonna be looking at the winger right over here. We can notice how that winger stays wide, and as soon as they receive that ball in the attacking third of the field, you can notice how congested that area is. Now, as a winger, whenever you are in the attacking third of the field, your job is to create attacking opportunities. How do you create attacking opportunities? You create them by getting a cross off, getting a shot off, combining to goal, winning a free kick, winning a corner kick. Any of those things can create attacking opportunities. In this particular scenario, we can see that the area is super congested. As a winger, you have a player sitting in between this pocket. You have your fullback making the overlapping run. What would you do in this situation? When you're watching this as a winger, what do you think is the best solution to do? I personally think you can do one of two things. You can either just combine with that player in that pocket to try to create something real quick, or just take a touch backwards and reset play just because that area is congested and we can look to potentially go out the other way. Now, if we look at it from a field view perspective, it's gonna look a little different. It's a little tougher to make these decisions now, because if we look at it from a field view perspective, we can see how congested it is. And now, if you're this winger in this moment, what do you think is the best scenario? Now, seeing it from this particular viewpoint, what do you think would be the best option in this moment? You have your teammate making that overlapping run. You have your 6 in the central area of the pitch. You have your 9 right here, maybe potentially for a 1-2 with you or with the fullback. But as a winger, you need to be asking yourself these questions. Right now, it looks like it's a 3 versus 5, 3 versus 6. So maybe in this particular scenario, taking these players on may not be the best option. But if you have that little bit of space and you have that confidence to make it happen, by all means, make it happen. But these are the things that you need to be looking for as a winger in these particular moments. Now let's look at what happens and what this player decides to do. They decided to play a 1-2. Almost creating an attacking opportunity. Unfortunately, the pass wasn't there. Goal kick. But see, little things like this is super important. So there you have it. Here are just a couple examples of how you can work on improving your football IQ. Literally watching these games and breaking it down to what the player in your position is doing. Where is the player playing in your position? What decisions are they taking on the ball and off the ball? How is their body language? Are they confident? Are they nervous? How are they walking? How are they running? How are they defending? How are they hustling? And number 3 is, how is their movement in and out of space? Once they make those movements and they get on the ball, you look at the decision making. But as a player watching these matches, you're watching it from a bird's eye view. So of course you can see everything on the field, but once you bring yourself down to a field view level, things change a little bit. But it's very important for you as a player to, in your mind, watch or look at the game from a bird's eye view perspective while you are on the field level. So when you are playing games in those split seconds, kind of picture yourself from a bird's eye view, understand your surroundings, understand where the ball is coming from, understand where the ball is, understand where the opponents are, understand where your teammates are, and then understand where the space is currently. Once you get all those things into place, then you're going to be able to make that best decision in that particular scenario. So the way I would categorize it, guys, is level 1, just understanding who is around me in that very moment. What is around me? What is the best decision in that very moment? If you have not checked your surroundings, the best thing to do is to play the way you face. If the ball comes from you to me and I haven't looked behind me, I just play it back to you or play it back to whoever I'm facing. Level 2 is understanding that once I do check my surroundings and I receive the ball, what option is the best option in that particular scenario? Do I pass to my teammate on the left? Do I pass to my teammate on the right? Do I just give it back to you? Do I turn? What is the best option in that particular scenario? And level 3 is combining level 1, level 2, and then ultimately executing the technical aspect of that decision to the best of your abilities. For example, if I'm playing my teammate down the line, I'm going to try and play their back foot so that they can take a touch into space to potentially create an attacking opportunity. That is what I'm thinking about in that particular moment, so that they can have an easier decision to make going to goal or going into space or whatever the case may be. Why? Because if I take a touch and I play their front foot, now they have to take a touch backwards, and now that moment doesn't exist anymore. So just be aware of those things as you keep progressing as a footballer, as you keep progressing in your football IQ, and keep improving that. Just make sure that you're aware of those things and keep watching as much football as possible. Watch all the football that you can from all the levels that you can. Watch first division, second division, third division, fourth division. Watch anything just to understand the different levels and understand the different decisions that these players make. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time.